It's Melissa Phillips here today with a Make It Monday for you. Mother's Day is quickly approaching, and I don't know if you have a mom or a grandma in your life like mine, but my mom loves my cards, and I thought we could make a fun and quick gift card set to give moms for Mother's Day or friends. And what makes this so quick is that I've used the Bold Blossoms watercoloring sheets and the Choose Joy stamp sets, my ink pads, and these came together really quickly and look so beautiful. Plus I had heard some questions about using the watercolor sheets, so I thought this might be a fun way to jump right into that and give you a few ideas. So we'll get started. Just select the Bold Blossoms or any other of Paper Tray Ink's watercoloring sheets that you would like to use, and we'll get to work. Okay, so we're going to start with green parakeet, and I just have these little foam daubers. You can buy more expensive ones that sold at craft stores and things. These actually I found in a package, and man, I think they were like $1.99 or something, really inexpensive. Of course they don't hold up like the others, but I'm just going to swipe my dauber in my ink, and then I'm going to start with my leaves, and I'm just going to go in circular motions, blending that ink right where I want it. And I love that you are allowed to go outside the lines, and that the more the better when you're trying to achieve the watercolor look. I've done pinks and oranges and yellows and oranges, so I thought on this one I wanted to try some purples. And so I like to start with darker shades of purple in the center of my flowers and work out to lighter colors. So we'll start with some Amethyst Allure and a dauber, and I'm just going to go right there in the center of my flowers. As close to the center as I can achieve. After we add our water, we'll come back and add even more shading. Okay, and then how about some Lavender Moon as we work our way outward. We'll achieve more variation in color once we get our water brush and start blending in some colors. We'll probably even add in some pinks. Okay, so just smudge those colors all around. Then, I don't know if you have a water brush tool or not. It's one of my favorite things to use. If you don't have a water brush, it's just this neat tool where you fill this end with water, and then it keeps the tip of your brush constantly moist as you squeeze. If you don't have one, just a little paintbrush will do just fine in a glass of water. So first thing I'm going to do is just get these leaves wet and smudgy. Go outside the lines a little bit. Then I'm going to take, let's try to find my ink pad here. I want to try some Simply Chartreuse to add a little bit darker color to the veins in our leaves. And I just dip my brush on my ink pad and then paint where I want that color. Comes in really handy. And you can kind of see that we're getting a little bit more variation in color there. Okay, then let's go over the centers of our flowers. I like going in circles. I like the fun effect you get with water as you go in circles. I don't know if you can see that or not. So circles in the centers. Then I'm going to go around the outer edges so that you kind of get that ring effect. Okay, so we got some nice wet paper there. Let's go ahead and start blending in some more of our purples for darker effects. I love that with watercoloring, it's so forgiving because you can go back in and correct it with more color, more water. It just is such a fun technique. Makes you feel like a kid again, or very artistic. Okay, can you see how we're getting darker centers here? Alright, now let's try a little bit more Lavender Moon. I'll be honest with you, I've not had a whole lot of success watercoloring in purples. I don't know why. I've tried purple mixed with blue to try and get, some fun shading. Blue toward the outer edges, purple towards the center. And I have not succeeded because those colors together seem to equal black. So you get kind of a dark line as you're blending those colors, or at least I have. So I'm being brave here. I love purple. Okay, I want to add some pink in our flowers at some point. So let's grab Hibiscus Burst, start with that shade, and see what we can achieve. And I'm just going to paint kind of right around the centers. Ooh, see, that's pretty. I like that. That gives a nice effect. Just painting outwards. Yeah, I like that. And we'll just keep doing the same to these others. So I guess what I'm trying to say is don't give up, keep trying, and don't be afraid. Just try new things. Like I say, it's very forgiving. I do not love it though when I achieve that black line as I'm trying to mix colors. That's a bit frustrating. I should have learned that lesson as a kid, huh? Certain colors mixed together just equal blah. Okay, that's really pretty. I like that. But I think I want to go even more pinkish and bold with that color. So I think we'll go with some Raspberry Fizz. And that kind of has a little bit of a red tinge to it, doesn't it? So that'll give us some pretty shading. And then we're just about done with this portion of the card. Really like that. How fun. Pretty, pretty. Okay. The more water you add, the more smudging or watercolor effect you will achieve. And I love that. I love the ring marks that you can get with watercoloring. So, okay, next step, I'll show you on this card. Now what I do is I go and I get just some clear water right out of the tap and my handy toothbrush that I've shown you before, and I just tap clear water droplets onto my card. And basically what that acts like is an eraser. It kind of absorbs some of those colors and leaves you water droplets and those ring effects. And then we're going to come back in with some color. So let's do clear water at this point. Okay, hopefully you can see this, but I've just dropped some water onto our painted surface, and you can already see how the colors start blending and running. Then I get my heat tool, my heat embosser, and I just heat it up and dry it. Next thing I'll do is to mix my re-inker. I think I'll use Hibiscus Burst. I mix my reinker with just a bit of water, maybe 5 droplets of my reinker to a cup that just barely has the bottom filled. Mix that up, mix that up, and then splatter it on my card, and then use my embossing tool to heat and set those colors in place. Okay, so now we've got our fun little water droplets on there and our splatters. And next thing we'll do, I love that you can add some character, personality, movement to these watercoloring sheets just by adding in some other stamp sets that are really subtle. So I've used fancy flourishes on both of these, and so we'll go ahead and use it on this one. And make sure that your watercoloring sheet is dry before you add any more stamping, or those inked images get blurred. So a word to the wise. I learned the hard way just for you. I think we'll start with green parakeet and one of my fancy flourish images. Just pick a spot to create some beautiful movement. And I'm going to pick a smaller image. Let's do this one. You don't need too many of these lovely little flourishes. They are so beautiful that you just need a few. Here. And maybe one more, and I think I'll do that stamping in Sweet Blush. And let's go with a little darker. You will be able to tell as you look at my stamps how often I use this stamp set. It's one of my all-time favorites. Okay, and let's do that one. Ooh, that's so pretty. Okay, but now I need to add a little balance. Bring it in down there too. There you go. Gorgeous. Simply gorgeous. Okay. I think I'm satisfied for the time being. So next thing, you got to decide. Do I want my flowers at the top with my sentiment below? Do I want my flowers at the bottom with my sentiment above? I think I'm going to add my sentiment on top. So next thing you do is select your sentiment. I'm using all sentiments from Choose Joy just because that's one of my faves. And it makes great card sets because of the individuality and uniqueness of the sentiments. Okay, so I've got my sentiment stamped right above my flowers. My favorite go-to color lately, when I just don't quite know what color to use, sometimes I love using black for my sentiments, sometimes I love using a coordinating color, pinks or purples in here, but sometimes you need that sentiment to stand out without it being stamped in black. Stormy Sea is what I've used here, and it's a favorite go-to color. When I'm a little bit lost, I always end up loving how that looks with other colors. So, okay, we've got our sentiment stamped, and all that's left is to attach this to a card base. I have trimmed both of these down a little bit so that I could add some pattern paper across the bottom or to the side. So that's what I will do here, is trim this down, figure out exactly how I want it to look, and we'll go through that now. So I trimmed my card down just a little bit, trimming about a 1/4 inch off each of the sides. And I decided I wanted a little pattern paper up here at the top. So I have used chicken scratch gingham. Cut that to fit about 1.25 inches down. Oh, I just ran out of my tape, I think. Okay, we'll attach that right up here. And you know me and ribbon, I will forever love it. So I'm going to add just a little bit of ribbon up here. coordinating cream. This is seam binding and is my favorite thing to use. It's so inexpensive and comes in lots of different colors, and it ties the most beautiful bows. You can get this. Of course I can't tie a bow with everybody watching. I'm all nervous. And my thumbs. This is about 25 cents a yard is all. And I just love it. There we go, come on. Alright. I like to fiddle with it. I'm picky and anal about bows for some crazy reason. Must have something to do with my grandma. Okay. She was a crafter too. And I used to love going through her fabrics and things. Okay. Get our little ribbon bow in place. Then, I love rounded corners. I just think they add such a beautiful finishing touch. So we'll round these corners. Okay. And the last thing we'll add are some sequins, just for a little bit of shimmer and shine. I have this assortment of pink sequins that I just love because they come in so many different shades and varieties. So we'll select a few of those and just attach them to the center of our card, center of our flowers. And I think our little card set will be complete. See, they'll just add a little bit of sparkle. So, fun little set for Mother's Day using really fun products that you can just be so creative with. Once you start, you won't be able to stop. I can't wait to see what you come up with for this Make It Monday. So be sure to get busy and post and share, and I will visit and try and comment on everything I see. Happy Mother's Day to all you moms out there. Thanks for joining me. Bye.